everybody, so tonight I'm going to make curry for dinner. This is going to be a Japanese curry and I'm going to show you exactly how I make it. This is kind of a comfort food for me, and so whenever I feel really lazy and I don't want to make something, you know, really complicated, this is something that I can literally whip up within 20 minutes, the longest thing being cooking the rice. So let's get started. So we're going to start off with rice. Now I'm using my favorite rice. This is the jasmine rice. I absolutely love this rice. I won't buy any other rice besides the jasmine. It just tastes so good and it comes out perfect every single time. So that's the rice I'm using, and I have here my rice cooker. This is a pretty big one actually. I guess it's Aroma. And in it, since it's just me this week, I put in it just 1 cup of rice, which will be more than enough for 1 serving. And I'm going to show you what I do to make my rice. I start off with some salt, actually. I find that adding salt to my rice before it starts cooking, I find that adding the salt to the rice before you make it really adds a lot of flavor, as well as a really nice base for anything that you're going to put on top of it. So I just added in a little bit of salt, maybe a ½ teaspoon. And I put the excess in a little bowl. Next, I'm going to take some olive oil, and I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil inside my pan. I'm just going to do a little drizzle. You don't need a whole lot. And then for my rice recipe, I do a cup and a half per cup of rice. So let's see if I can do this one-handed. So I use this cup to measure my rice, so I'm going to use it for my water as well. So that's 1, and then I'm going to fill it up halfway. Okay, so my machine's plugged in. I'm just going to hit it so it's on white rice, and in about 20 minutes it'll go off, and I will show you the next step to make the curry. So now it's on to the curry part of our recipe. With this recipe, usually traditionally, it's just the curry and rice, but there are some things that you can add to it that makes it kind of fun and a little bit more fattening and a little bit more nutritious as well. So here we go with the curry. Okay, so there are more complicated ways of making curry, but this is absolutely the easiest way possible. So what I do is I buy the Golden Curry Sauce Mix. You can find this pretty much in any grocery store. I've even found this at Walmart. So it should be readily available. Yeah, so it just looks like this. It's a box. Most of it is in Japanese. So if you want to make this, you probably want to look on the underbar underneath this video to find out the exact measurements I use. But pretty much the way this works is when you take the package out, it is broken up into little cubes. And depending on how many servings you want to make, it depends on how many cubes you use. 1 cube per serving. It does make a lot, so it just depends on how much curry you want on your rice. So I'm going to go ahead and take 1 cube and put it in this glass microwavable safe bowl, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my bowl with my 1 little cube of curry, and what I do is I come over to my microwave and I just set it in there for about 15 seconds. You want to start small. This is just to start melting the sauce mix. If you add the water too soon, it kind of like clumps, and it doesn't break down and make a really smooth paste. So I start with 15 seconds at a time. As you can see, it's starting to melt just a little bit around the sides. It's kind of like tempering chocolate. So 15 more seconds. When it starts to become like a pool of curry paste, that's when you can start adding your water slowly. Okay, so as you can see, it's a paste now that only took 30 seconds. And what I have here is 1 cup of water. You're not going to need all of the water, so just add slowly. So as you can see, I just added a tiny bit of water. You're going to want to mix it up. And this is what the consistency you want to see. As you can see, when I'm mixing it, you don't see any lumps. That's exactly what you want to see, and it's still thin. So keep adding water, and you want to keep that consistency so there's absolutely no lumps. So for 1 bar, it's probably going to take maybe a half a cup of water. So I'm going to take a half cup just like that. And then I'm going to put it in the microwave. You're going to want to heat this, now that it's all mixed in like that, you're going to want to heat it for about, I would say, start with 30 seconds. Go ahead and check it. This is after about 1 minute. As you can tell, it has thickened up quite a bit. This is what you're going to want. You keep microwaving it until it gets to the thickness. Ooh, all the steam. You want to microwave it until it gets to the thickness that you desire. This should be about the consistency of gravy. What's really important about this kind of curry is, especially the method that I'm using, is to make sure that the first step of breaking it down and making sure it's smooth is extremely important. You want to make sure that it's smooth before you start microwaving it or do anything else really, because if you don't get the lumps out right away, it won't mix together very well. Also, it can be very hard to mix together if you put all the curry in the solid form with the water at the same time. It doesn't really break down very well. So ease with the water a little at a time, and actually it melted perfectly, and that's pretty much exactly the consistency that you want for your curry. So let me show you how we're going to plate this up. Over here, while I was waiting for my rice to cook, I just had an ear of corn that I took all the kernels off of, and I sauteed that with some leftover bell pepper and some onion. And what I'm going to do, oh, and by the way, I also shredded up some Colby Jack cheese. This is the fattening part that you can add to your curry. It makes it so good. So what I'm going to do is come over here and get a bowl. I'm going to use the bowl that I actually got in Japan, so we're all sentimental. I'm going to get my bowl. I'm going to open up my curry, or my rice. Sorry, it's not curry. I'm going to get a nice scoop of rice right in my bowl, maybe a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to fill up my bowl with rice. Then I'm going to come over here to my corn mixture, and I'm going to scoop up the corn mixture. Now the corn mixture is going to be the healthy part. If you don't want to add vegetables to your dish, you don't have to, by all means. But I was going to have an ear corn anyways, and so I just figured this would make it a bit more healthy. And so that's what I'm going to do. So now is the part for the cheese. You just top the very top of your bowl with some cheese. I love cheese, so I'm not even going to deny myself. I'm just going to put on a bunch of cheese. And then it's time for curry. One last stir. And then you're just going to pour it over the top. As you can see, it's the consistency of a gravy. And make sure you have enough to melt the cheese and enough to really get in a good soak for the rice. Now I'm going to come and get my chopsticks. Let's find a matching pair. My matching pair of poodle chopsticks. I'm going to stick it in there. And then you can mix it up a bit to get a little bit of cheese and a little bit of vegetables. And I'm telling you what, this is to die for. It's cheesy. Oh, it's such an amazing flavor. It is so good. So I hope you try out this recipe. The original inspiration came from when I went to Japan. I went to a place called Coco's Curry House. They have the best curry. And at first I was really scared because, well, I had never been in a foreign country before. And it was brown and it kind of did not look very appetizing. But when you try it, it is so good. You just really can't help yourself eating it. So I hope you enjoyed this dish, this recipe. It's super simple. Really, the longest thing is making the rice, and it's such a hearty comfort food, just something to really, you know, something quick and really make you feel good. So I hope you liked it, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.